I'ma thought it was a game or something. Look crispy, production. I'ma thought it was a game or something. Look crispy, I'ma thought it was a game or something. Look crispy, I'ma thought it was a game or something. Look crispy, I'ma thought it was a game or something. Look crispy, I'ma thought it was a game or something. Look crispy, I'ma thought it was a game or something. Look crispy, I'ma thought it was a game or something. Look crispy, I'ma thought it was a game or something. Look crispy, Northside.
We from the north, yeah, that way.
No.
What's going on, y'all? It's your guy CJ 100. You muted, bro. You muted.
My bad. Here we
You
go.
good? You good? All right. Sorry about that, y'all. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy CJ 100,
Your guy Tez the Fi.
and we are the 5100 podcast. Do
Yes,
me a
sir.
favor, right fast. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can get all of our content as soon as it drops. With that being said, let's get back to the video. You dig? All right, we got the housekeeping out the way. So rumors have been going around that the man Kevin Samuels has passed away. Supposedly cardiac arrest. Wow. It's like I don't fully know if it's true, but somebody that was close to him dropped some videos and said their condolences and looked like it might be true. So we want to say rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. Anything you want to say, bro?
Yeah, man. I just want to add in, like CJ said, number one, it hasn't been 100% confirmed, but like CJ said, some people that's kind of close to him and that work close to him, kind of been, sending their RIPs out. And
Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
and one thing I kind of wanted to talk about was the difference that this brother has made, in our space or whatever.
Yeah.
I just look at it like it's a big loss, if it is true. And also, man, the toxicity you see around this situation just crazy. And like I said, bro, we gonna get to the main subject, but we couldn't not speak on this situation. It's too big right now, and that is somebody that gave a lot of good game after people, whether you love them or hate them. So
Facts. Yeah, I'm gonna put some stuff on screen because I want people to see why Kevin was so impactful and then the hate that he gets for speaking the truth for men. Let's just be real. That's the problem that people had with him.
yeah,
Speaking about issues with black women. And what we have is issues as black men. And so I just gotta share this because I want y'all to see, man, why it's important for us to continue to go forward. So let's do that. This is so sad. I personally never agree with his opinions, but this is shocking. R.I.P. to him. May he rest in peace. Woman wasn't a fan, but to celebrate one's death is sickening. May he transition in peace. This one right here. I hope he got it right with God before he passed. The way he ridiculed and bashed people, especially women, on his social media platform was disgusting and evil. I do not feel bad that he passed. People die every day. That's life. If he was a nice person and used his social media platform for good, I would have had sympathy for him. Let's see. Wow, something ain't right. R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. Look at this. This is sad, and I'm sad. He helped me improve as a wife. That's what they won't talk about.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pretty positive here. Let's see. When the wicked pass away, there is shouting. Proverbs 11, whatever.
Wow,
Just
that's
come on,
crazy.
bro.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
I mean, bro, it's just a reflection of the world that we live in today. Like I said, man, regardless of how you felt about him personally, it's like when somebody passed away, it's like, golly. Like I said, don't get me wrong. We understand, bro. Death is a part of life, but it's just
Right.
like for people, women to be celebrating this,
Celebrating.
it's just crazy, bro. It show you how far away from reality that we are right now. It show you how far away from compassion and love we done got away from. So
Yeah.
it's a sad thing, bro.
Hold on. So that's why these men get away with everything. Women always forgive. We shouldn't. Women always forgive. Okay. He made his choice as a grown man, and in his death, those were still his choices. We all die. It's nothing special about it. It's what we leave behind that counts. And he left behind a lot.
I agree.
And see, I don't blame women for feeling a way about him even after he dead. But why talk about it? Why voice that? Oh, I didn't like him, but rest in peace. It's like, and I used to do that stuff when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? Now I just realized, say nothing if you got nothing really good to say, bro.
Right.
And he put a lot of negativity out about black women specifically. This is my thing. What did he put out, bro, that wasn't already out there?
Right.
Like, I hate when people do that because they act like this man really had a vendetta against them. It wasn't a vendetta against him. Now, I don't agree with everything he did. There were some things I didn't like that he did as well. But, I mean, that's a grown man with his own opinion. I'm not going to go against him because I don't agree with something. I'll say I don't agree with it and be done.
Facts.
I just don't understand it. But I'll say this. What I respected most about Kevin was his ability to translate the way men felt.
Right.
I think that was very important. I think it was, and then he did it from a point of view of a man that makes money, which is not a lot of us, but it was basically a representation of what women say they want and what were they willing to do for him. What he exposed was they didn't want to do shit.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that he exposed, and him doing that, that's him speaking down on black women. Yes, he had some harsh things to say. Don't get me wrong. But hell, we do too. And we get some of the same backlash that he gets because we actually give a damn. Guys that don't give a damn gonna keep knocking you down, having fun with you, and lying like everything is all good when it's not. You know, I'm single now because, I mean, it's a lot of that stuff that he talked about that I've dealt with and that is going on in the world we live in. And just for people to disrespect the man like that, it's just like, it show you, man, black men, if you don't wake up after this, I don't know what to tell you because they're showing you that they have no respect for you.
Right. And I think even past the respect thing, it had gotten so detached from reality. It has gotten so detached from life or death. And like I said, man, this ain't in arms as men. It's just, bro, at the end of the day, man, you got to stand up and see what's going on out here. You got to stand up and understand the environment that we in. And like I said, bro, I got to give Kevin, you know, his props on the way that he handled the situation. He was able to make the message more digestible than most men ever have been able to do. And as much, even though it was more digestible, it was still harsh. I had a person say this to me a long time ago. Medicine is never good.
Never tastes
it never tastes good, but it help you get to where you need to be. And I just think that's what it was. It was just harsh medicine, but so many people need it, even some brothers out here. So if that's the case, brother, if he didn't pass, once again, rest in peace. You know, we learned a lot from his messages, but once again, it wasn't nothing that we hadn't heard or we hadn't talked about before.
Right.
And I done told women this. Before Kevin was even doing what he was doing, the 5100 podcast was on the scene. So
facts.
We
wasn't online. We was doing it in our homes. We was doing it at the club. We were doing it at the bar. You know what I'm saying? We was having these conversations in the barbershop. That's all Kevin did. He wasn't the only one. Let's not get it twisted, but he was the face, and he brought it to a mainstream kind of a way, like platform. So, I mean, we as men, bro, even if you didn't fully agree with his message, you got to understand what he was doing. And I mean, people always talk about his delivery, and like I said, I agree, it was sort of harsh, but we've seen way worse. We've seen way softer. We've seen the guys talk to you like you want to be talked to, and come to find out he's doing the same things that he talked down on men for. So, I mean, the truth is they didn't like the man because he spoke on things that people didn't want to have spoke on. That's all it was.
Yep.
So before we get into the show, anything else you want to say?
Nah, man. Once again, man, RIP to Kevin. Like I said, if it's true, like I said, man, I think his legacy gonna be bigger than what people even think it's gonna be. I think what's
Facts.
gonna happen is, once again, bro, anytime a leader falls, somebody coming to take his place, or a group comes to take his place. And I think what this gonna do is galvanize a lot of brothers to start speaking up for themselves. So we'll see how this
Facts.
go. But RIP to the Godfather. And like I said, man, I just hope the 5100 podcast gonna keep the work going regardless.
Yeah,
So,
we're gonna keep pushing, man. Like I said, I hate to see this happen. If it's true. And RIP to you, Kevin Samuels, man. Prayers up for you and your family. People that was close to him. And like I said, we won't let his message die because we had already been represented before we knew who he was.
facts.
And that's just what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's get to the show.
Yes, sir.
So Roe v. Wade. And make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all come in the door. We're here to give you great content, stuff that we've thought about, planned out for the last day and a half. So we want to make sure that this will be a good show. We got some good stuff lined up for you. So as you come in, hit the like button. If you are not already subscribed to the 5100 podcast, make sure you hit that notification bell and, come show us some love. Also, we got a website if you want to check out things we do as far as podcasts, because we're not just a YouTube channel. We are a legitimate podcast on every streaming platform. You can get every episode we've ever dropped as far as a podcast goes on our website. And with that being said, let's get to it. So, Roe v. Wade, my boy. Roe v. Wade. For ones that don't know, you want to go ahead and kind of give them a little synopsis of what that actually is?
Yeah, so Roe v. Wade was based on a court case that was taken to the Supreme Court of the abortion laws being overturned. The verdict in this pretty much said that it was legal to do this. The problem, it was nowhere in the Constitution. And I don't know if y'all know this or not, the Supreme Court's job is to handle cases that deal with the Constitution. So after them going through and doing all their research, they have decided not really to overturn it yet, but to draft the overturn.
Okay.
So that's why this is causing so much of a firestorm. And we gonna talk about it, man. We know it's a huge impact to a lot of women and even to a lot of men. But once again, you never hear the men's side of it. So we gonna give you that. That's what we do here on the 5100 podcast.
Yep. So I'm trying to send out some invites to let people know we live right now. So anybody that's here, make sure, like I said, hit the like button. Anybody else got anybody got a comment they want to say about it, let us know, post it, we'll put it on screen. We're pretty fair here. Don't keep it, keep it in the guidelines now. Don't get out of control with it. But as you can see, we are back in the asylum, back in the private room, because our opinions are usually viewed as crazy because it's not the norm. We accept that, we just don't care. That's what it comes down to. So we're going to have that same energy with the Roe v. Wade discussion. Now, women are in an uproar right now. And I find it, well, let me say this. I understand, right? I understand women's frustration because they feel like a choice has been taken from them. And they don't have the same liberties that they once had. And it kind of removes a little bit of power to a degree. It's not big as people make it out to be, because you can just go to a state that allows you to do this and, you're good. But there's uproar. And I find that funny because for some reason, women tend to think that they can't not get pregnant. Like, they just got to be pregnant. Like, so when they get in this situation, their only choice is to have an abortion. And it's like, but you can not get pregnant. Like, you have over 25 birth control Like, you have plenty of options of not getting pregnant. So when I hear this, I don't know, bro. Maybe I'm crazy. That's why I'm in the padded room.
I say I'm right in there with you. Man, I feel like a lot of this stuff is more motivated by I don't want people to tell me what to do.
Right.
And I think once
the way I
again,
like
we live in a country where the country pretty much tells you can do whatever you want to do.
Facts.
But the problem is when you have laws, when you have a constitution, you have a certain guideline that you have to follow, even if you can do what you want to do to an extent. And I feel like anytime you take away something that people have gotten used to, it's always going to be uproar.
Yeah.
But when this thing has been founded upon a lie, which you can do your history on that and find out that, she lied about her situation, but I don't think we heading there tonight. But the point is, like CJ said, we understand when you've had something so long and it gets taken away, it can be frustrating.
Right.
But you got ways not to get pregnant. You don't have to have sex. As a man, I don't have to impregnate no woman. It's numerous ways that I cannot get a woman pregnant. Not have sex, condoms. It's so many ways to avoid this.
Well, it's not that many ways for us, but
regardless, for both parties.
Right. You don't have to get somebody pregnant. You don't have to be pregnant.
Facts.
Like, let's stop acting like it's just so hard to avoid being pregnant, right? Like, there's several people walking around here with no child in their womb right now. So let's just stop acting like that's the case. But I want to talk about a couple videos and show a couple videos. The first one I'm going to show is the vice president I'm speaking, Miss Kamala Harris. She had some things to say about it, so let's go ahead and play that.
Women's rights in America are under attack. If the court overturns Roe v. Wade, it will be a direct assault on freedom, on the fundamental right of self-determination to which all Americans are entitled.
I thought that was an interesting line.
Mm-hmm.
Self-determination. Basically, they're being robbed of a chance to be a self-determined person. How?
I mean, I understand what she's trying to say. But it's a reason why the politicians have the job that they have. They good at twisting definitions. They good at twisting words, or they try their best to be. So when you hear that, you automatically think my rights are being taken away. Not really. Because honestly, once again, if you go to the core of this, it's nowhere in the Constitution. But like I said, I don't think we're getting that deep in here today.
Yeah, all right.
Roe protects the right to access abortion. It also protects a woman's right to make decisions about what she does with her own body. But let's talk about what a world without Roe looks like. Women in almost half the country could see their access to abortion severely limited. In 13 of those states, women would lose access to abortion immediately and outright. Those Republican leaders who are trying to weaponize the use of the law against women. Well, we say, how dare they? How dare they tell a woman what she can do and cannot do with her own body?
Did those men not enact this law for you to be able to get the So you were cool? Okay. That's cool. All right.
How dare they? How dare they try to stop her from determining her own future? How dare they try to deny women their rights?
Black man, what's up, man? Glad to have you in the building.
And their freedoms. They want to ban abortion in every state. They want to bully anyone who seeks or provides reproductive health care.
the bully word. Don't you find it funny how they're able to use these words, throw these words out, and they're the main ones that try to stop free speech. Um, they don't want, especially men. They have a problem with a man saying anything that could be construed as negative. There's actually criticism for women, and there's outrage. There's literally canceling of people with different opinions, but now they have such an issue when it's returned back to them. I know I get it's a law, but at the same time, there are laws that men never agree with that we just have to go with. We don't have to support it, but we have to. I mean, we allow it to happen because we ain't going to the Capitol storming people and attacking women because things aren't going our way.
And I also wanted to mention she used weaponized before. Like I said, man,
Yep.
they good at using trigger words, weaponize, bully. And it's like, if these things were true, don't you think it would be more outraged than what it already is? So for something to be weaponized, you're saying it's intentionally being used to hurt. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that's what this is. I believe what it is getting people to go back to the Constitution. I think ultimately that's what this decision was made for. It's all political stuff.
Right.
But one of the things we want to do with this live is let you know how it affects men that's on the ground floor, men that work every day, men that got kids. That's what we are addressing here. Politics ain't our thing, but we know what they doing.
Okay, let's go ahead and let this finish, and then I got more things to say at the end of it.
Yes, sir.
And they want to criminalize and punish women for making these decisions. At its core, Roe recognizes the fundamental right to privacy. Think about that for a moment. When the right to privacy is attacked, anyone in our country may face a future where the government can interfere with their personal decisions. Not just women. Anyone. And it has never been more clear which party wants to expand our rights and which party wants to restrict them.
I noticed when the beer that turned into a virus, they didn't care about people's choices then.
No.
I find that very funny because we were supposed to protect other people, right? You take the jab and it protects them and it protects you if they have it. That was what they were selling us, and that's what they said we're supposed to do. And to a certain extent, I understand that. I believe it should have been your choice. But they started taking people out of jobs. People couldn't provide for their families, and men are still the brunt of the workforce. So we could say that was actually targeted at men if we wanted to make that argument. I'm not, but you could say that, right? So I find it funny that they didn't have a problem with the jab being forced on people, but now that it's affecting them, she wants to talk about how if we allow this to continue, that we're allowing government to take control of our lives. Ain't that what Republicans are against?
I mean, it's so crazy that you say that, bro, because my little crazy conspiracy theory self, I could have used, they were weaponizing this against me. They bullied me into doing, I never said that because it was the cool thing to say when you want to push something. But when you want to fight something, it like I said, bro, politicians are so good at twisting words. They have to make you believe what they're saying is the truth. And that's why, like we said, we want to speak for the men that's on the ground floor, the men that work, the men that take care of their kids, the men that got families and trying to do what we trying to do. That's what we speaking for on the 5100 podcast. We don't dip into politics, but we know it play a role. And this one of them.
Yep. And those that are just joining, I want to thank you. Shout out my boy Charles Washington. What it do? But I want to give a little bit more of an understanding of what Roe v. Wade is. Now I'm not gonna get all into the bill. I mean, that's just, we ain't got time for that. But I do just kind of want to show y'all what the Roe v. Wade case actually was. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. Roe v. Wade was a landmark decision of the U.S. Supreme Court in which the court ruled that the Constitution of the United States protects a pregnant woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion without excessive government restriction. Just so people know that. And that's fancy wording as well.
Right.
But I want y'all to just see that, you know what I'm saying? Because, people will say we up here making stuff up. We're not. This is what the outrage is about. So people that saw that when we posted on our Instagram and Facebook that might not have known what Roe v. Wade is, it's basically the right, quote unquote. Now we got to do that because it's kind of alleged, right? That women have the right to get an abortion. So that's what we're talking about today. But you mentioned it, Tez. We want to talk about the ground floor, the men that deal with these things from a man's perspective. Now, we've already addressed that. We understand what women go through. We understand why you feel a way about this bill. And I'm honestly not mad at you for feeling a way. However, I find it funny that you care about your reproductive rights and your paternal rights, but when it comes to fathers and men, we hear nothing. There was a post that I shared. I ain't gonna show it here, but basically it said, stop telling men that they should fight for their children and start asking women why they had to. You see, we talk about the child not being a child is just a fetus when it's at a certain stage in the woman's belly. I vehemently disagree with that. I just feel that they say that because they don't want to use the word delete. They don't want to call it what it is, getting rid of a child. That's what it is. I don't play the semantics game. Tez don't play the semantics game. It is what it is. You want to take away the guilt that you will feel for what you do. That's the problem.
Facts. And one of the biggest things that bother me is if a man deletes a woman that's pregnant, it's a double homicide. But if a woman do it, it's no penalty at all. What's the difference here? It was because she chose to do it. Didn't the man choose to delete? Both of these, see, I think, like CJ said, they have to dehumanize the situation to make themselves feel good about it. But the law don't dehumanize nothing. It's a clear cut. It tells you what it is and what it ain't. And the fact that we have to, as men, somewhat excuse these things, bro, it don't make no sense. It don't make sense. It's not, like CJ said, it's not the fact that we feel like you shouldn't have your rights or that you're upset that they might be getting overturned. It's the fact of, what is fairness?
Right.
I guess that don't exist no more.
And okay, this is going to upset some people, but why do people feel that they have a right to take a life? See, I mean, first of all, men shouldn't speak on this, what they say. Put it like this. We talk about this in the way that we talk about it because men actually were a part of this being passed, and it possibly it's not even official yet, being revoked, right? They were fine with the men and women. People act like that it's just men on these discussions and having these votes, which is not true. But okay, the men were for it. You were for it. I just don't understand. So what we got here? Go ahead, too.
So I just don't see a reason to force people who are already probably unfit to be parents, if they're considering abortion, to be parents. It's gonna be hell for the parent and the child. So true, was it true? I don't know what that is. True something. So to an extent, I agree with you. But it's this thing that we like to call accountability. I don't know if you done heard of that or not. I'm sure a lot of women haven't heard of it.
Right.
And what it is if you don't want to be part of the game, don't play it. We talk about this all the time. Brothers got to be held accountable. Women got to be held accountable. If you don't want a child, don't do what it takes to have children. That's what's called accountability. Mistakes. Yes, mistakes do happen. But it was a reason why that mistake happened.
Imagine, look at it like this. And I ain't mean to cut you off, but I gotta say, you have a gun, right? Firearm, right?
Yes.
It has a safety on it. Now, you can delete somebody with the firearm, correct? If you have that safety on, or you just have no bullets in the gun or the firearm, it won't hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You get where I'm going with this? See, they want to have a loaded firearm and then delete somebody or shoot somebody with it and act as if they didn't do it. See, that's the problem that I have with this abortion law that's, being overturned, and people having such an issue with it, because it's like, look at it like this. Men are held accountable, bro.
Facts.
Period. A man makes that mistake, and first of all, let me say this. I disagree with that. If a man gets a woman pregnant, bro, it's your job to step up and handle your business. You made that mistake, or you made that dumb decision, whatever you want to call it. You have to stand up and be a man. We're not against that over here.
Right.
We believe a man is supposed to be accountable, but see, the problem is y'all want to remove the accountability from women, and that's why they're upset, because they want to be able to continue to have raw intercourse, get that raw meat stick, you feel me, and get all the fun of doing that without having to deal with the consequences of it. See, men have never had that option. And we could walk away, don't get me wrong, but he's going to be held liable for that. The law will hold him liable for abandoning his children. They will penalize him, and as soon as they find him and he don't pay that child support, he can go to prison.
Facts.
License suspended, passport suspended, won't be able to bear firearms. That is the difference here. And I can't stand when people make this argument about kids having bad parents. Bro, look, there's foster care, and I know that's not the best situation. There have been millionaires that have come out of foster care, successful people that have come out of foster care that has raised family. You know what I'm saying? What do you got?
I'll read it out. Of course, I get that 100%, bro. I personally never went without protection my whole 22 years of life. I don't know about that one, bro. But I take your word for it, G.
I don't know, man. I need to go get me a hat because I'm feeling some cap going on.
but everybody ain't responsible, and it's sad to see all these children that have unfit parents. Bro, look,
there was something he said. There was something he said in there that's very important. Everybody ain't responsible.
That's the key. That's the key. You right. And if you know you ain't responsible, Young Thug said something that was controversial, which it broke people shouldn't have children. Now, look, bro, honestly, I really believe he was joking. Look, man, we understand, bro. Baby, look, we get it. But at the same time, if you know you're not ready for a child, if you know you're not ready for that responsibility, don't do the act to get you there. And, bro,
or use one of the 50 damn birth controls you got. That's what kills me. You have so many ways to not get pregnant. Go ahead, Tim.
Thanks. Like I said, even look. I get it. You talking to two ex-thoughts here. We didn't did this, bro. We understand the fun and the experience that sex can bring, but we also understand that with sex can possibly come children. So if you don't want that, don't participate in the act, especially without using none of the protective measures that they got out here to do it. We can't allow women to have that excuse, bro. We can't.
Because you got too many reasons too many ways to not get pregnant. Men got two. pull out or rubber or both. Like that's all you got. They got bro, the Morena, the Macarena, the macaroni. Like, they got plenty options, bro.
I'm telling you, look, man, Big Sean said it best. I could have a bulletproof condom on and still pull out.
Man,
because
look, and that was a cold line.
It was. I ain't doing it no justice. But the point is, bro, I just look at it like this, man. The key word here is responsibility. And look, CJ said it best, man. Look, if you don't want the child, get a child. Look, but we got to stop acting like deletion is the number one should be the number one choice. No,
they treat it like birth control.
Ooh,
like that's the problem. It's like, and see what they'll bring up. Let's go ahead and get in. Let's cook. And you know what? Before we get all the way into it, let's play this Whoopi Goldberg clip. Let's do that.
My body, you are not the person to make that decision. My doctor and myself and my child, that's who makes.
The child had a decision?
Hold on, CJ. Now you remember when we did our single choice mothers. Right. My, I. That's all I got it.
But when that baby gets there, it's pay for that baby. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
hey, come on, man.
Come on, man.
The decision. And one of the things I really want to point out before we go is the reason came about. Women in this country lived forever with it being illegal. Okay? Women, when they decide something is not right for them, they're going to take it into their own hands.
Let me speak to that, please. So, okay, so she's talking about back alley abortions and you know, doing crazy things, right? Imagine if you were put in a situation legally to take care of a child you didn't want. Comes out of your pocket regardless of what you have to say. Let's say you want the child and you're doing what you're supposed to do for the child. The government still has the right, if she wants to do it, to take money from you. Imagine that, Whoopi.
Or take the child away from you that you 50-50 co-ownership of. see, these the things that, bro, on the 5100 podcast, we have these conversations because it's so many men that want to say this but so scared and just so they don't want the backlash. We gotta do it. Okay, what we got? I ain't even see that one, bro.
Go ahead.
And all unfit parents ain't gonna abort it. A lot of people do keep their children even when they in the struggle. So I ain't saying all broke people should abort. I totally agree with y'all too, though. And bro, like I said, this is a safe space to come get your opinion. So I don't want you to feel like we was arguing with you at all. But I just look at it like this, man. That's all. I look at it like this, man. It's accountability. As a man, bro, I'm gonna be held accountable whether I walk away or not, because the court's gonna make sure I'm responsible. But I don't have a say so in the choice of how much I pay or how much time I get with the child. That's completely out of my hands. So what about my rights?
And what they'll say is, you know, okay, so let's have this conversation, right? So is there a such thing as a financial abortion? No, it's not. And if you're asking me, how do I, you know, rationalize it? First of all, I don't agree with the man having a financial abortion. Just like I don't agree with the woman having an abortion. But if we're talking fairness, if we're talking equality, equal rights and equal rights. If we're talking equal rights, then a man should have an option. Because what they say is that once you done let it off, your choice is gone. Which is true because of the way the law is set up. But honestly, if the law wasn't set up that way, that would be the same for women. And that's the problem.
Right.
They have a get out of jail free card that they can dangle over your head, that they can use to manipulate you. And men have gone through this. Tez has a story personally that he can tell you about that affected the way he thought about childbearing and being a father. So I'm gonna let him go ahead and get into that.
So this is a story that still to this day, you know, I get emotional about telling. This happened to me a long time ago, like maybe 2009, 10, somewhere up in there. And I was messing with this young lady. We weren't dating. We were going steady, as Rocco said.
Shout out to
But
Rocco.
facts. It wasn't a relationship, but it was somebody I cared about. She cared about me. I cared about her. And you know, me being a young, stupid person, irresponsible,
Right.
I did something that I shouldn't have did. I shot the club up. I shot the club up.
Yeah.
And I remember the phone call like it was yesterday. I remember her calling me and being like, "Hey, I'm pregnant." I was like, "Oh, okay, congratulations." Me being the asshole that I was back then, I ain't think nothing of it. I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And she was like, "Well, you know, it's your baby." I'm like, "Really?" And at the time, I was still pursuing a ex-girlfriend of mine. So I was like, "Look, man, I really don't want to have a child right now. You know, I don't want to do it." And I remember her telling me, like, "Look, man, I want to have a baby." I'm like, "Look, whatever you decide to do, cool." And I remember being at work one night and she called me and she was like, "Hey, I got rid of it." I'm like, "What?" "I got rid of the baby." I'm like, "Bro, why you didn't tell me you was gonna do it? We didn't even talk about it. You just did it." And man, I remember her vividly describing them taking the baby away. Like, you could see it. And I remember her telling me, and she was crying, and I'm at work, so I'm trying to just man up and go on about my business.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to console her. And I remember her getting off the phone, and it didn't hit me until I was scrolling down Facebook. And I will never forget this moment. To this day, I still remember the picture that Facebook used. It was a story about a fetus, talking to his mother about the abortion. And I remember hearing the story about the child being happy that it was gonna be born, being happy that it was gonna be with his mother.
I remember that.
And then in the story, the child the fetus, unborn, talks about being torn apart and crying. And I remember feeling so crushed. I went to the bathroom and cried my eyes out because I didn't stop it. I didn't say no. I didn't get a chance to say no. I cried for 30 minutes straight, sitting on the toilet, crying my eyes out because I realized what I did. I realized what I didn't stop or what I didn't have a chance to stop.
Yeah.
To this day, it still bothers me to sit around and think about that. Because what I did or what I didn't have the chance to do was raise a child that didn't have no right to go through what it went through. Regardless of if he or she was out or not, that was a seed that was planted. Yep. And look, to wrap this up, I told myself I didn't give a damn if I got a prostitute pregnant. And I'm talking about the most prostitute or the prostitutian. Right. She was gonna keep that child and I was gonna be there because I told myself I'd never feel the way I felt crying on that toilet. So look, man, I just damn, man, stories like that be scaring the S out of me. How old were you at the time? Man, I was like 24, 25. It's like still trying to figure it out. Yeah. And bro, like I said, man, to this day, talking about it, thinking about it, still get me emotional. Like it's so hard. See, this would. All right, bro. I'm gonna let you take it because I know I'm about to go into one of my
moments. Go ahead. I ain't going nowhere. Go ahead.
It be situations like this, man. that really bother me when it comes to these laws and when it comes to the outrage that these women have about this stuff. Because you never hear the men's side of it. You never hear how that affected me. You never hear how that affect a man that want to have a child, or a man that didn't even have a choice. I didn't even get a choice in the decision. Who's to say that I wouldn't have changed my mind? Like, you know what, man, let's do this. This young lady passed away. Who's to say that if that child went here, she'll still be here, or a piece of her still be here, a piece of me? I just had my son 1 year old, and I'm blessed to have him in my life. But what if my wife would have made a personal decision without me to say, I don't want the baby, I'm getting rid of it? The moments that I done had with my son, I wouldn't even have right now.
See, that's what they don't want to talk about. See, men, we're not sitting here acting like we haven't been supportive of a woman having one before. Like I didn't necessarily ever tell a woman go do it, but I was like, shit, I'm not ready. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna say we've all been through that, but some of us have been through that to understand that, we can understand why a woman would want one. We're not sitting here acting high and mighty, bro. But if you've been on the other side of it, you know why you don't want that to happen. I've been through this, right? So I'll never forget this. I was dealing with this fine young lady, right? And we were just smashing, bro. We was unprotected. We weren't being smart. Okay. But it was fun. You feel me? And I remember she hit me up one day and was like, I'm late. And I'm like, just be on the way when you get here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? I ain't tripping about you being late. This ain't no job. You feel me?
No, baby, you good.
Come when you're ready. You feel me? Like,
thanks.
Cool. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, no, I'm late. Like, what do you like? I didn't get my thing. Like, all the little red friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah, I didn't get it. I was like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I pulled out, but a little bit could have got caught up in there. I don't know, but that's how I go too. When you get out there a little too late, it don't take all of it. It don't take all of it. It's just a little drip.
Right.
A little drip is enough. So she was like, if I am, you're gonna have to pay for my abortion. Now, not what do you want to do? What are we gonna do about this? Not I care about the way you feel about this. It's, I'm not ready, and you're gonna pay to get this child aborted. I'm sitting there thinking, what? Like, you just gonna make that decision? Like, and this is the problem that men have. This is the root of it, to be honest with y'all. This is the root of the issue, other than the fact that we don't want life to be taken from somebody. As far as a male's perspective, this is the root of the issue. This is it. Because we have no decision. No matter, even if Tez hadn't been able to convince old girl, it was her decision. There's no paperwork he had to sign, nothing. She could have been like, I'm not feeling good, went to the doctor and actually went and got the abortion. That's the position that men are in, and that's why women don't care. Let's just keep it G. Women don't care. That's how this conversation is even be able to be had, because it's obvious y'all don't. It's completely obvious y'all care nothing about how a man feels in these situations, which is why when something like this happens, man, we good with it, because it's like finally it ain't gonna be as easy, because they're gonna still be able to do it. That's what they don't.
Right.
Like, that's what is not being talked about. All you gotta do is go to a state that allows you, and don't hit me with that you can't afford to do it, because when y'all want to go to these hot girl summer spots and these NBA All-Star weekends, y'all find a way to get it done. So don't act like
you'll stay in the back of a U-Haul or whatever you got to do to figure it out. So that ain't no excuse. And CJ, I didn't mean to cut you off, bro, but I want to let people know that if this is overturned, like CJ said, that don't mean it's illegal. That means it gives each state its own legislation on whether they can do it or not in that state. So it ain't like it's even being banned. But look at the outcry and the venom. You had Vice President Kamala Harris on here talking about weaponization and bullying. It's insanity, bro. It's insanity. But see, y'all don't hear the men's side of this argument. You ain't go. Steve Harvey ain't finna come out on do a show on this. Nick Cannon and his show. You not finna see no man speak on this subject that got a public platform. You want to know why? Because he's incentivized not to.
Yep.
The 5100. Go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, just to wrap up my story, you know what I'm saying? So basically, she went and had the A word, you know what I'm saying? And I had no choice in the matter. See, what that does to a man, you'll never understand, ladies. And I know you don't care. We for the ones that do, this is for you to hear. And this is really, we're talking about this, but we're actually trying to give a cautionary tale to men.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Be very careful with your seed, because even being careful might not be enough. Because I've been through this twice. Just the second time, my child was allowed to be born, but I was told the same thing. So, as a married
CJ,
man, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, if you finish that story, you mind getting into your daughter being born, how that was a struggle?
Right. Okay. So, you know, basically, and this is not to trash my ex, you know what I'm saying? It's just the truth. You know, we give it real here. So me and her had a rocky marriage. We were married. We had a rocky marriage though. And she was pregnant with my daughter. And I remember the conversation we had, and she was like, look at us, we're not even the best couple we need to be. And from that perspective, like, I kind of understood it, you know what I'm saying? Just that, like, I understand the thought of, like, the actuality of thinking you finna do this, but I understood the thought process of we're a rocky couple, we don't want to be like our parents, whatever. I get that. But I was outdone, so I left the house, bro, and I went to some people of mine. I had my homegirl with me. I went and picked her up. We went to a party, and I was just talking about it, you know what I'm saying, drinking my pain away, basically, bro. And on the way back to the crib, I'm around with my homegirl, and I'm telling her, bro, she wanna get rid of my baby, and she just like, what? Couldn't believe it, right? And I broke down in the car, bro. I never forget. I broke down like the whole way. Like I ain't cried like, I don't think I ever cried like that in my life. The first time I was young, so it was like I was hurt by it and shook by it. But this was like, I'm ready. I'm on my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm married. You feel me? And we had already told everybody. You know what I'm saying? So that was just like another thorn in my side. And then the homegirl that was with me was like feeling sorry for me and hold me while I'm crying. You feel me? And you know, when this bill came out, she is like, a man has no right to tell a woman what to do with her body. And I'm like, wait a minute. But when this was happening to me, you was with me. You see, this is what we're talking about as men, bro. We're not valued. We constantly see it. We're just tolerated, bro. We're not valued. They don't appreciate what we do. No matter how much you do, you're not appreciated as a man. And for it to even come out of a woman's mouth to say you have no right to say anything, you're right. I can't tell you what to do. I can't stop you anyway. I could tell you, but I can't stop you. I get that. But to say I don't have a right to speak on it, disrespectful, bro. So imagine being in that situation, bro. It's rough, bro.
All right, so we got another comment here. I know how that feeling is, bro. When I was 20, I was dating a young lady. We found out she was having a baby and she wasn't ready, and I wasn't, for sure. And we had an abortion. And bro, I just wanna let people know, like, man, look, we get it. Like, we understand. It's just,
it's wrong.
I mean, it ain't no other way around it, bro. That's why I felt so guilty. I felt like I personally took that child's life. I still feel like that It's 2022. That happened in 2006, 2019, somewhere up in there. And I still feel guilty. It's like I committed a murder. And Charles, I ain't trying to get you to feel like that. But like CJ said, what we trying to let brothers know is be cautious with your seed. Because you don't know if you ever gonna have a right. You don't know if you gonna even have a decision, a saying in this choice. I didn't have a saying. And that's something I'll never put myself in the position of doing again, bro. That's all I'm trying to say.
And I want to show these people we're not making this up. The way women talk about this. So let's do that. All right. Why are we moving backwards? And she's right. Period. This was the Whoopi conversation. This is a man. This is why Whoopi need her own TV show. Let that show go. Get her own show. That's how. And them people don't like the truth. They don't like you being too real. My body, my choice. Our rights as women are slim to none.
Wow.
Yeah.
He sure is.
I wish men could reproduce. This wouldn't even be a discussion. What if the baby has defects or grape, or it's a possible risk to mom's life? They're saying she should rightfully terminate the pregnancy. These men worried about the wrong thing.
Now, I want to address this.
Okay.
Let's make it clear. If a woman is raped or this could affect her life, I'm 100% on board with her having the choice. What me and CJ primarily talking about is y'all irresponsible junks out here that's thotting it up.
The majority of the abortions.
Facts. That's thotting it up and not wanting to be a parent. Men too. I ain't even just speak. Men too. I was one of them. I'm a perfect example of a man that was in that situation. And all I had to do was put on a condom. And I was like, you know what? F that, man. I'm going in.
I want the raw
and
skins.
That facts. And that one decision, I don't know how long it lasted, but that one encounter, that one encounter has scarred me for years, over a decade now. One encounter, one sexual encounter scarred me for over a decade.
And bro, and see, this is me. This is my thought. Like, even if you're raped, my personal thought is still bring that child into the world. But would I tell a woman you better or no? You know what I'm saying? I truly believe in life, bro. I truly believe that however that child gets here is supposed to get here. Now, I'm not the one that has to deal with that. So in that situation, I'm not gonna tell a woman what to do. If let's say it happened, I saw somebody had this discussion on YouTube yesterday. Like, what if your wife was raped by a man and she was pregnant by him? That was a great question. Because it puts you in a position to really think. My stance is have that child. Now, if she doesn't want to, I'm gonna support her, bro. Like, I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna leave you for aborting a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that, but it is a belief system, bro. And people have a problem with people that have a real belief system and don't just half-ass it. I seriously believe what I'm saying. Let's see. That was his other. Please stop killing babies. Thank you. Okay. This is the one I was looking at earlier. Men, sit this one out, please. Why?
Right.
Why should we sit this out when a man got you pregnant? Because that's the thing. When that child is born, they say, well, it's born. But you can't use the argument because it's here now, like physically outside of your womb versus being physically inside of your womb, that now it matters more. It doesn't. It's the same thing. So if we're supposed to take care of that child when it's here, and we're supposed to step up and have responsibilities, we have responsibility to that child while it's in you. But they don't want to talk about that. They want to deflect and use different arguments, which is crap.
CJ, let me give you another quick story. Let me give the audience another quick story. I had a church member get pregnant. Her and her husband, I think this was their first or second child. And I was younger. I was old enough to know, but I was still young and stupid. And I remember the child being a stillborn. The child passed away. They had a funeral. People was crying. And I remember asking myself, like, man, why these folks so emotional over a child they didn't even know? And that just shows you how dumb and ignorant you can be as a young person. Because as a 34-year-old man that was there for my wife's pregnancy from the beginning to where it's at now, I didn't want nothing to happen to her. I don't want nothing to happen to my son. But it just shows you the immaturity as young men that we have sometimes. A lot of our messages, as critical as they are on women, we primarily speak to brothers because we gotta wisen you up to what's going on. Me and CJ went through these things, but we tell our stories so you don't have to go through them. It's very possible, bro, to avoid these situations, to where you don't have to be in a child support court, to where you don't have to go through that emotional scarring that been chasing me for 10 plus years. You ain't got to do that. I ain't saying don't have sex. Bro, I don't even think CJ would say don't have sex. If you believe in the Bible, no, you should not be having premarital sex. But I will tell you, bro, it's so many ways to avoid this.
Yep.
Shout out to Bring TV in the building. I've been ignorant like that before. Man, bro. It just
I can say we all have to it.
I really, CJ, I really believe that, bro.
Yeah.
I legit believe you dehumanize stuff until it's your own situation.
Yep. It's at your doorstep. And that's when things get real for you. And you know,
facts.
Look, I don't agree with abortion in no case. But there are, of course, circumstances make things different. Different circumstances make me look at it a little different. It doesn't shake my foundation in what I believe, but I can understand. But let's stop acting like, because you know the stat is 1% of abortions are by women that was raped, right? I don't believe that 1%. I believe it's probably higher. But
I agree.
Let's say it's 20. What are the 80 doing? What are the 80 doing? And that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the worst of the worst. Women always want to do that.
Facts.
They always want to bring the extremes into the conversation to make an argument. Look, man, the extremes are extremes for a reason. It's a rare occurrence. It's like y'all guys are acting like men out here graping like crazy. They're not. It's happening, but it's not some phenomenon that men are just out here doing it like crazy. And before I wrap, because I'm about to wrap it, bro. But you know, Whoopi said something that I want to address, and I'm done with it. She said, "I know what happens when they remove this, and women have to do abortions basically illegally." What about those men that sat in the car and deleted themselves because they couldn't see their children, or had their children taken away from them while they're alive? Because y'all say when they're alive, that's when it counts, right? What about those with no laws in sight to help men get through this? What about those? See, y'all want this power. It ain't about that child, man. Y'all want this power. Women use this power whenever it's convenient. They don't want a man, they'll get rid of the child. They want that man, they'll keep it just to spite him. These things are happening. And stop acting like it's the minority, because it's not. I've seen this happen way too many times. I've been told, Tez has been told, I'm doing this. I don't care about you. And that's what they have a point. You know, a man doesn't have a man can't stop. If they said a man can't stop a woman from doing this, I would agree 100% because you can't.
Right.
But to say we don't have an opinion because we don't have a uterus, but y'all let the trans have every. All right, bro.
Look, man, to put a bow on this conversation, at the end of the day, we really men starting to see our worth, according to y'all. Even with Kevin Samuels passing, we starting to see how y'all really view men. And as men, we have decided enough is enough. People want to talk about war. People want to talk about being toxic. We ain't bringing this toxicity. We responding to it. We on the good side. And that's what bothered me when I had these conversations. I don't want to rant because we is rapping. Yeah. At the end of the day, look, man, you can do whatever you want to with your body. But to tell a man he don't got a choice, to tell a man he ain't got an opinion is bullshit. And that's all I got to say on that.
Yeah, we not, like I said, man, it's not an attack on women, but what this is we not going for this shit.
Nah.
Period. We're gonna continue to have our opinions on this. We're gonna continue to speak on the issues that we have as men and fathers. Because me and Tez are fathers, if y'all don't know that.
Facts.
We have children that we take care of, that we do everything we can for, we sacrifice for. And the difference between them and a child that was aborted is a decision that the mother made. Over 63 million children have been aborted since 1970, I think it's 75, something like that. And I think 36% of those are black babies. We dominate in getting rid of our children, and we're only 13% of the population. Let that sink in.
Mm-hmm.
We have taken ourselves out of the fights.
Facts. I just want to say this and I'm done. We talk about standing up. We talk about creating a safe place. To any brother or sister that watch this, man, y'all gotta stand and support, bro. Like y'all, we can't be quiet no more.
Yep.
We can't be in the shadows no more. It's some people that we know that got stuff to lose. We get it. Mm-hmm. But you can still stand right beside us and say no more. That's just what we at with it. We done with it. We been done with it. And that's how it's gonna stay with the 5100 podcast.
So we're gonna go and wrap this up, man. So it's live from the asylum, you feel me?
Thanks.
They finna get ready to close down, so we gotta go ahead and get ready to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Get back in these straight jackets. You feel me?
You know what I'm saying? They let us out for we only got an hour, so you know it's all good. But thank y'all for coming. Make sure y'all hit that like button on the way out if you have not. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, go check out our website at the 5100podcast.com.
Yes,
it's the same way we spell the channel. So just put .com behind it and you'll be fine. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. So for your guy, CJ100.
Your guy, Tez the Fire.
We are the 5100 podcast. You dig.
Two G's.